Okay, so you all enjoyed my cooking show many years ago, so here I am, I'm back. Thought I'd just do a quick little number for you now. I found this dandy little recipe out of the newspaper that they send me all the time, and I don't even order the newspaper because I don't really want the newspaper, but for some reason I get the newspaper. You probably do too. It's called South Shop Now. I suppose only if you live on the south side. Now this recipe sounds really good. It's a warm, hearty dish. That's what they say it is. It's a warm, hearty dish. So this is how we're going to make it. What I've decided to do, instead of using pasta, because I'm starting to cut down on the middle a little bit. I'm working on it. Summer's coming around the corner. At least it feels like summer. So anyway, I decided I'm going to use some quinoa. Now, quinoa is spelled different than you think it is. I don't know, I put the box away, but it starts with a Q. So if you want it in the grocery store, you can get it. But I'm going to tell you, it's a little bit on the expensive side, but it is a superfood. So you want to have as much of that in your diet as you possibly can. Alright, so the first thing that this calls for is to get your quinoa going. It's kind of like a couscous, really, only it's better than a couscous, so just so you know. Now, since I'm on a little bit of a diet here, I've been making spring rolls and all that kind of stuff, just all vegetables and stuff, and working out like a dog. Yeah, I've been working out like crazy. So I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in there because it's less than butter, but I'm going to put just a little bit of butter in there to get the flavor of butter, but not as much as the recipe calls for. I'll put a little mix in there. That's good. And then it's asking me, of course, what do we always start with? What does every recipe have to have? Or actually two things it should have: onions and garlic. Alright, so let me get the garlic here. Now, some people go through all the problem of cutting up the garlic. I personally like the minced garlic. I think it tastes just as good. And I always put more garlic in than necessary, so that's what we do. So the first thing we're going to do, I guess, is we're going to add the onion and the garlic, and we're going to saute it, and then we're going to put our portobello mushrooms in. Alright, so we're getting this all melted up here nice. I don't plan on cutting my finger here today, so this could kind of bore you a little bit. Don't worry, I will edit so that this isn't a long, drawn-out process. Alright, so we got about a couple onions in there, and it calls for, let me see, 3 cloves of minced garlic. Like I said, I like more garlic, so I just kind of make a wild guess on how much garlic to put in there, basically. One thing I've learned about cooking is as you're cooking, it's always good to put the stuff away as you're cooking because then you got less to deal with later. Okay, so now we're going to cut up the mushrooms. Now, I like my mushrooms kind of chunky. So I'm going to leave them chunky because, as you know, when you cook mushrooms, well, maybe you don't know, but I'm going to tell you, when you cook mushrooms, they kind of shrink up anyway. So I like to have them, and portobello mushrooms are, kind of meaty themselves, which is what I really, really like about them. Whoa, the quinoa's getting out of hand. Woo, we got to turn that way down there. Okay. I think we're just supposed to be having that simmering. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to go back and read the directions on that in a bit. And then I'll cut all this out. So once I get all this in. So now the next thing is your portobello mushrooms. And I am going to not necessarily follow the recipe. You don't always have to follow every single little thing in a recipe. And as you cook more, and you like more stuff, you can put more stuff in, or less stuff in, or no stuff in, if you want to. Now, I know I'm sure that you hear that screeching in the background. I'm not murdering small children. That is my toucan. Yeah. Alright, so what it calls for here as far as the mushrooms go, watch the knife while you're talking. I'm looking at the mushrooms. Okay, 3 to 4 medium portobello mushrooms. Now, I'm thinking that those are probably the big ones, so maybe what I'll do is I'll put half of what I got in here, Yeah, okay, we put that in. Oh, we got to combine those in water. Okay, so we're going to add the mushrooms. Oh, no, we're going to add the mushrooms. That's right. All right, so I'll save some of them for maybe like a little 1 egg omelet for breakfast. All right, so, all right, we got that in there now. Let's get a wooden spoon here. My mother used to beat me with this. Don't tell anyone. And we're going to mix all that up, and I'm telling you, it smells good. You know what, actually, I'm going to put those mushrooms in because I like them, and that's it. You know, I don't need them. I'm not going to have an omelet. I'm having a smoothie tomorrow anyway. All right, so the mushrooms go in. Now, any small bowl, and I've used several small bowls because, as I've said, I was making spring rolls, and that's cutting up a lot of vegetables and putting them in a bowl and that kind of stuff too. So in a bowl, what we're going to do is we're going to combine the water, the bouillon cube, but actually what I'm doing, I'm just using, a bouillon cube and hot water. What is that? Chicken broth. So I'm going to put my chicken broth in here. Whoops! And it calls for about, calls for about 1.5 cups. Or 1.25 cups, excuse me. Alright, so I put that in there, and, okay, and the vinegar and the sun-dried tomatoes. Alright, the vinegar. How much vinegar did I need? Oh yeah, we're using balsamic, and I've got some dandy, some really good balsamic. 1 teaspoon of balsamic. Now, I'm going to use the good stuff. Now that's the thing too. When you start to cook, you kind of know about what a teaspoon is. You know, you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to measure everything like perfectly. Now let me turn this down here a little bit. We don't want to get that overcooked. Alright, so we put that in there, and then we're going to put in the, I guess it calls for sun-dried tomatoes. Sun-dried tomatoes, where are they? Aha! 1/4 cup of sun-dried tomatoes. And they should not be in oil. So I bought like the bag stuff. Alright, so I'm going to chop these up just a little bit. They're kind of big. And that's about 1/4 cup, I would say. And I guess we're going to put that in the chicken broth. Alright? Smells good. Now, this stuff already has basil in it because, of course, this time of year in Wisconsin, especially at Pick and Save because it sucks, you can't find fresh basil. Now, if I would have gone to Sendik's, yeah, maybe, but it's too far away. I didn't feel like traveling that far. So this has basil in it. See, it says with Italian basil. So you can buy it with it, I guess. All right. So we've got that, and we've got that. And now we're going to add this stuff to the skillet. All right. Okay, in we go to the skillet. And we're going to mix that up real nice now. Get that all mixed in there. And that looks pretty good. Oh, yeah, you're thinking to yourself, yeah, wow, wish I could come over. And I'd say, well, you can, you know. I mean, I'm all about, you know, having company and people coming over to eat. But everybody's always running around. They're too darn busy. They're going out left and right, you know, it's just a bunch of crap. You can never just get together anymore. It's really kind of sad as far as I'm concerned. That's just my comment on society nowadays. Remember when the neighbors used to come over, coffee clutch, you know, that doesn't happen anymore. Alright, so now, what we're going to do is, we're going to stir the chicken in. Oh, we are, huh? And we're going to heat it on low until it thickens. And then we're going to put the mozzarella and the tomatoes in. Alright, so first I got to get the chicken out. Now, I was defrosting the chicken here in the microwave. And we got to cube that up a little bit. Cube that up. No, I'm busy right now and you're not having it. No, you're not having it. No, go away. I'm on TV. I'm telling you, these wiener dogs, as time has gotten on, they've gotten worse about eating. All they want to do is eat. It's like their life. That's eat, eat, eat. It's not happening though. No, the chicken's raw. No. Of course, I could do away with you if I wanted to. Alright, so I'm cubing the chicken up now, real nice here. And I'm cutting it right over those sun-dried tomatoes, which is alright, because it'll get that flavor in it. And, you know, I don't know, Rachel Ray, she makes $1 million doing this stuff. You know, I don't know why. I don't know why this was not my calling, because, you know, I would have probably enjoyed doing it, but it wasn't, I suppose. I really don't know what my calling was. Okay, now the chicken is going right in here. Woo, with the stuff. Good, good. And you're doing all this in a skillet, which is nice, you know. It's a one, well, actually it's a 2-dish deal. Ooh, this couscous. This quinoa, I'm going to add a little bit more water to this. Now I cooked this with, I'm going to let it cook a little bit more, and I cooked this with chicken broth before, so I'm going to turn this back up again a little bit. You know, if you get the quinoa, just, you know, read the directions. You won't have a problem with it. Alright, so the chicken goes in there, now I'm going to get the plum tomatoes out and the mozzarella cheese. Mozzarella cheese. Here it is. Now, and we want, what did I say? Mozzarella cheese and what? I am just, that's the thing, you know, oh, the tomatoes, that's right. How much mozzarella cheese do we need here? We are going to put 1 cup of shredded cheese in there. Cooking in around 6 minutes, okay. So we'll be adding that in a little bit and the tomatoes. We gotta let it cook a little bit first. Let me get the tomatoes. Calls for 2 tomatoes. Alright. So, the girls are thinking that they're gonna have dinner with me and it's not happening. They always get a little bit. I'm not going to lie. They do. They do. Alright, so we're just going to basically cut these tomatoes up. And those are going to go in there the last minute of it. And the cheese. You know, we got to let it cook 6-7 minutes like that. We got to let that, shut up, Cassie. You need to go away. Go away. Go. Or I'm going to get you. Here, I'll tell you what, this always helps. When I'm cooking, then I give them a treat. And everybody wonders why Cleo's fat. Well, this is why. Here you go. 1 for you. Come on, little flea. And 1 for you. Get it? Okay. Take it. Run. Now I'll wash my hands. Because, you know, I just touched dog treats. Yes. Alright. So, at the very end, the tomatoes are going to go in. The tomatoes are going to go in, and then we are going to put the mozzarella cheese in. Now the other thing is once this couscous gets going, or quinoa, Quinoa or something like that is how it's spelled. Yeah, it's a superfood, so I'm all about superfoods. And I wish somebody was coming over for dinner, honestly, because, you know, I'm going to have a lot of this left over. And you know what it is like. You can eat leftovers one day, but when you got to eat it 5 days in a row, you know, it kind of gets to be a little bit of a drag. Right. All right. So, tomatoes are ready to go in. The mozzarella cheese is ready to go in. And right now I'm going to put the quinoa in. I'm going to stir it up. And that's going to be the dish. And I'll be back to you in the end. I'm back, and I promised to show you what it looks like. So this is kind of what it looks like in the end. Does that look delicious or not? The mozzarella cheese is going to melt. And so, you know, don't just throw that paper out. Check out some of the recipes in them, because some of them are actually good and good for you. And this is good for you. Okay? So enjoy. And see you next week.